Old devil come to him to field one day, saying, one of your family I'm gonna take away, saying, fire, diddle-I, diddle-I, fire, diddle-I, diddle-I day.
So, all right. So the situation is unfolding below most of you, as you see the other two like tumble down and then get menaced by this tentacly pool of goop. So how do you react?
Well, I've got a line to Varix, and I would want to use it, but then that would leave Bean stranded. Or that would leave...
How long is that line?
Not that long. It looks like.
Well,
20.
sorry, I shouldn't be there. I can't move myself, so...
Oh, yeah.
All right, ping where you are.
Let's see.
Or rather where you want to be.
Yeah, I suppose I would have been down with where Erasmus would have been.
Cool. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you're plenty close enough. You have a line rigged up to him.
And just to be clear, the goop is here?
No, it starts like below where these two are. So it starts around this level.
Okay.
Although there's also goop just kind of smeared on the walls and floors in this upper area as well.
You said earlier it was kind of gasoline.
Yeah, it has a very kind of chemically, I guess probably more than anything, kind of solventy kind of smell to it.
So it might be flammable, or
could be, yes. And you do have a flaming sword, plus I guess fire mind powers.
But given they are soaked in it, that might be best to hope that.
Also,
sure
if
that.
if it's a stomach, I mean, Varix is full of poison, so...
I'd say, I mean, yeah, we're not really in quite an initiative at this stage, but I'd say basically if Barracks, if you want to try and, you know, climb your way back up. Oh no, you're still here. With you know, carrying Fayen since he's not here, and with the help of Nai's rope and presumably her hauling on it, we could try that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, so it was like, yeah, we had our fun, you know, this was awesome, but like, we should probably get back to...
It was great with the goo and the tentacles and the falling down.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about tentacles. I mean, you know, I've got my own, like... God.
All right, so
I told you not to play with strange tentacles.
All right, so Barracks, give me a might roll. I'm going to say 4, and Nai, give me a 3.
Right, I have the mainspring I can use.
Oh yeah, all right, that's definitely an asset.
Okay, do I get that asset as well?
No, let's say it just applies to Nai. I mean, these are both working together in this case anyway, so.
So yeah, I just basically shoulder Bean, like over my... Or fan.
Slither your way up.
Yeah.
Oh! Snap. Alright, let's
Hooray.
see.
Snap, possibly, quite literally.
Alright, I don't think this is going to be too major. I think what this is Nai,
everyone gets digested.
Yeah, so I think Nai, you know, you've had quite a lot of practice with this thing, but you're not really, you know, you've used just the basic, you know, rope belt type setup for most of your life, and you're still not quite used to the power and utility that this, you know, mechanical version of it has. So, yeah, exactly. So I think what I'm going to say is, you don't get it quite right on how you have kind of rigged up the rope. It's basically kind of caught on some stuff, and you kind of try and give it more power to get past that. But it basically kind of jerks Varix and let's see. Yeah, it kind of jerks Varix and Fayen like off the wall for a second, and as they're dangling, these kind of tentacles reach out towards them and try and drag them down. So I'm going to say, Varix, give me a probably might or maybe speed roll to try and defend against that. I'm going to say this is just difficulty 3.
Alright, so I think I should just... yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you managed to, I don't know, maybe swipe your tail at these things and just bat them away. And you're able to get to where Nye can engage the mainspring properly. And it just drags you straight up the corridor back towards them. So, and away from all this horrible goop and stuff. But even as you're being dragged up this corridor, you can kind of see basically the surface of this goop is it's starting to kind of rise up and well up through these tunnels and stuff beneath you. So for now, you get to go back up here. But there's definitely this stuff is kind of approaching from beneath. So
Ooh.
How do you react?
Is this goop?
Goop.
Wonderful goop. Would I have been cognizant of the past events, or was I just too damn happy?
You had a little flashback episode, but it looks like it all worked out well, fine in the end. Okay, so yeah, so how are you? Again, we're not in initiative, so just whoever wants to pipe up.
Minim's
What
just
y'all
kind
doing?
of perched, shaking his head at the antics of everyone else. He thought they were just playing.
Do you want to try and find some way to get through down into whatever might be past this downward?
Is this like rising quite rapidly, or is it just slowly?
Not like let's say you'd expect it to kind of reach your level in something like, I don't know, a minute or two.
Okay.
And it's not just that the goop is kind of rising up, like a place flooding. All these tentacles are they'll shoot up out of the surface and kind of latch onto the walls and then kind of almost pull the whole mass up kind of after them.
Is the rubble being sick?
Something like that. Certainly, all of the debris and stuff that is dislodged is just kind of floating around within this stuff.
Now that
Nice.
our guys are out of there, do we want to try fire on it?
I mean, last time we set everything on fire, like that didn't go so well. I mean,
When
I'm
was the
all for
last
setting
time we
stuff
set everything on fire?
You know, that
Every
Mother Mountain
second.
thing, we sort of like set it on
well,
fire.
we
Didn't go
we set it on
super well.
radiation.
I mean, it didn't go horrible, I think.
Well,
Yeah, pretty bad. I don't think that was some. Oh no, it was a fire thing. Yeah, there was a huge blaze that Tan Mountain ran into. Never mind. You're right.
I mean, I
I
think it's a negative thing to call it all bad.
I think I'm going to try a terrifying image illusion.
Really?
Interesting.
So it's let me see. I can post it and see what it does. Yup. So I tap into telepathy, and then I sense what would frighten the stomach.
Dettol.
Interesting. I'm thinking what you could do here is basically brandish your fiery sword and, threaten them with it. And then at the same time, use this to, like make them even more super terrified of fire than they potentially already are.
I don't know, man. We're still like inside it. I don't know if this is the best thing.
what's the worst that could possibly happen?
I mean, that is of course true. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. So, I think let's roll for this. So let's do. You're basically doing like an intimidation type check, but I think if you have any kind of persuasion or charm type skills, or actually no, I think illusion would count as this. You're presumably specialized in this, and I'd say it's going to be difficulty 4, and you have an asset for the flaming sword.
Let's do some difference. Bing.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so you you brandish your sword and maybe you whisper some menacing words to it at the same time. And as a result, almost immediately, the entire mass of goop basically kind of retracts basically almost immediately down into the lower depths of the corridors and stuff that are below you. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to say that there is some, like, let's just call them chests and stuff, just various containers that are left basically washed up, that you're able to kind of have access to now that all this stuff is receded. So let's roll a couple of boop and boop.
Are these look-upable?
Yeah, go for it.
I can't imagine what detonation crystal does.
Where did you get these from? Sorry. I
So
just missed
if,
that.
so if they have, so a bunch of like, sarcophaguses and containers and stuff were basically like washed upwards
Okay.
into the level where you are by the rising tide of kind of goop. And now that they've been frightened off by Mr. Erasmus's fiery display, you're free to access them. So
Okay.
get some stuff.
All right. Glass orb always drips perfumed water very slowly.
I kind of want that, and then install it.
Ranged Retaliator is a prison keeper.
Prison keeper.
Like, you know, dog collars where you push a button and the dog collar electrics them,
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
but for people.
nice.
You can buy those for people. It's the new latest productivity device.
Golly.
I'm not kidding. You electrify yourself to be more productive. But that's
That
a
sounds
tangent for
utterly
another time.
horrible, but okay.
And to get great apps.
Yeah. I think having this glass orb is basically gonna, add to your ability to leave a scent trail where you go, basically. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
did you even think of
so
that?
you haven't been drawing a scent trail on the map, but basically I'll just
Alright,
assume
yeah.
that you have
There
one.
was a lot of sliding. That...
Yeah, true. Cool. So basically, if you need to make your way back by the same route, I will tell you which route that is.
I'm curious what is biological transpirer.
Oh, it's pretty
Oh,
cool.
neat.
What does that do?
Okay, it's not permanent stuff, but you roll on a table for it, so that's always good. Yeah.
Wow. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this sounds good already.
Sorry, I feel dumb for not noticing, but we've lost Ninja for quite a while.
Oh, Ninja
Yeah,
had
no,
to
he
leave.
said, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
Uh,
concerns.
Well, it seems kind of random. It's the sort of thing that Fayon will be all over, although it doesn't seem to have any of the effects that Fayon would like. But wow, that is it's kind
yeah,
of
nice.
handy.
Just
Yeah.
like a random boost.
Well,
Yeah,
it's...
I think that's the kind of thing that would definitely suit Fayon because it
Yeah.
basically ties into his mechanic.
It might suit Barracks quite a bit as well because it's like a random mutation
True.
that lasts an hour.
Yeah.
So
Oh, but I've got plenty of mutations. I don't mind sharing.
you can always have one more.
I mean,
They-
that is of course true. Yeah.
They sort of suit both characters as people who are likely to find strange substances and inject themselves with them.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, you go first.
I'd rather smell nice than have another mutation.
But if anyone's if anybody doesn't mind, I'm
for it.
quite interested in taking this and just using it now.
Cool.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for
go
it.
for it.
All right. So that's a D100, is it?
Mm-hmm.
$32.
32.
So it restores a number of intellect points equal to the cipher level.
Oh, well, that's less interesting. I've not actually used any intellect points.
Oh well.
Oh well. Never mind.
You know what? I'm going to say, because of your proclivities and stuff, I'm going to say that allows you to boost your intellect points over your limit.
Okay.
You should be able to just put the number higher.
Would that
than
be the plus
than
5
max is.
thing that you can also
Do
get?
you want to roll the level of the cipher as well? Because that'll be.
Oh,
how much
yeah.
Oh
it-
right.
Yeah, let me see.
What level is it?
Oh, I've already searched away from it.
I got it here.
D6. Okay.
+2.
Boom.
Nice. So 8.
Oh no, I
Oh,
already
6.
did that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. All right. So you're,
Yeah,
you're
there we go.
extra brainy all of a sudden.
All the intellect.
Furtively jack this thing into your brain.
Who says drugs aren't good for you?
By the way, seems like this is probably the last you'll see of them for now, but the tentacles and stuff and the gel looked somewhat like this.
Wow.
I mean, that
It
sounds
is
perfectly pleasant.
Giant. Hold on. The gel stuff earlier, was that actually a creature we were walking around on top of?
Maybe.
Well, you can't. I mean, well, yeah, you'll have to guess, basically.
Yeah. I
Based on
would.
what you've seen.
Fayen wouldn't know.
If
Fayen
anyone-
just found-
If anyone wants to know, the detonation crystal is basically a shrapnel grenade
Okay.
with long range that ignores armor.
Hmm.
Meh.
That sounds dangerous.
Well, I got a spare pocket, so I can put it in there.
Grenades are for people who can't punch people in the face. So.
Oh, did I lose my detonation variable thing? Did we turn that into some sort of powerful bomb thing earlier?
yeah, I'm gonna say you souped that up, and as a result, well,
I
let's
can't
see.
remember where we left it afterwards. Is it back with the Statesmobile? Did you
I
bring
mean,
it down
if you
with
want
us?
to have it with you, then you can.
The what?
Yeah, we might as well. I'd see. Do you remember the Doomsday device that we thought my detonation thing might potentially be randomly?
Oh, yeah,
and we
because
souped it up into an actual Doomsday-ish weapon that's not quite as nuclear.
Oh, so it is absolutely a doomsday device now.
Sort of. I think Hoyon.
No, not necessarily. I think I think the way we did it is basically it has essentially the same kinds of effects that a normal detonation can have, which are quite varied. But this one's basically been souped up to have a much larger area of effect, like several kilometers, like the Doomsday device. So yeah, pretty powerful, almost nuclear level bomb that you're carrying with you, I guess. Apparently.
Yeah.
As one does.
I should probably be a bit more careful where I walk. But
Does definitely have a timer device, and let's say it has like a remote trigger type thing that can be used as well.
do we know what the range on the remote trigger might be?
Let's say that. Let's say if you left it down in the depths here and then went up to the surface, you'd have to stay in the same location on top to detonate it.
Okay. But then we could run really fast, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
What you can also do is stay just within range and then use the remote to activate the timer. So you have
Okay, that
extra
could work.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say you have that thing in your rucksack.
Okay,
cool,
is
so
that
you-
still counting as a cipher? I'm just wondering about my limit. I mean, it was
let's
a
say-
cipher originally, so
Yeah, let's say yes.
Doomsday device. Okay.
All right,
Cool.
so
Right.
you've managed to get some loot from this little encounter. Even more so now as you get lower down, and especially with the commotion and however far down this kind of goo extends. That seems to be kind of writhing about, and basically the whole structure around you is somewhat moaning and kind of clattering in the darkness as it is still shifting and settling somewhat.
Should we leave the goop monster now?
The passage over on the left here is kind of the one that you were following originally. That seems like the route to where you're going.
Yeah,
It
let's
could
maybe
be.
get back on track.
It could be guarding rare loot, or it could just be trying to eat us.
But maybe has eaten other things that we can extract.
You want to rifle around through its poo?
I mean, we're already in the stomach, so might as well. Go.
And while we're here,
Travel down into the bowels of the beast.
Like it would put Minim off. I mean, no. No, but I think we should probably get back on track.
Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah, I've had
Minim
enough.
has been up here, perched and keeping watch, and it seems that there's been no further movement from the passage ahead. If anything, it seems like any sounds of distant movement that there might have been seem to have died down as soon as there was this huge commotion with the gel and goop.
What about the alarms? Have they stopped going off?
Yeah, that was more of just a kind of one-time thing.
Sorry. What alarms went off? Was this while I was away?
This was one of the containers that Minim opened that
Duff
turned out
chest.
to be a bad chest.
Oh, right. Okay. That one.
I
Yeah,
didn't
so
find
that,
anything that was shouted at me.
exactly. So, yeah, so the passage ahead of you is basically clear for now. In fact, it returns to a somewhat eerie silence.
I'm quiet.
Oh, there's a little nook.
Too quiet.
Is this nook interesting?
Let's see. So what is there is there's a small statue basically on a plinth. It's somewhat hard to recognize or discern what it's depicting. It kind of like it's almost like a Buddha statue or something, except there's not really any like humanoid features. There's just kind of rolls of, I don't know, just like curves and stuff. It looks a bit weird. It has a whole bunch of graffiti and writing over it that seem to have come a lot later. But a sign to the like below it. I forget. Did any of you have any success in like interpreting the languages and stuff that we used
Last time,
in
yeah.
these graveyards?
Right?
I think somebody.
Oh, I did because I was reading about the crimes and stuff on the scrolls.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
the
right.
same
Oh, yeah, because I
language?
think you took as your flex skill like languages.
Yeah, communication. I've got that as a proper skill now. So
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's say that you hop along and you have a look at the statue, because below the statue itself is a kind of inscription that you interpret as a sign, as in a direction sign, pointing in the direction that you're going. And it seems to say, let's see, it's difficult to describe the words translate the words exactly, but they, what's the word I'm looking for? They say something like a oracle, I guess, of atonement. Let's say that's close enough to what it means.
Okay.
So yeah, and as you may have guessed, that is leading in the same direction as this energy that you are picking up, Minim.
yeah, you have some sort of a oracle down here,
Possibly of atonement.
possibly.
Well, that clears up everything.
So I'm going to say, is this open? You see, basically, as you look down this corridor on your right, it just looks very desolate and abandoned and empty. Because that isn't the way to the story.
Oh well.
Let's go that way.
Oh, is that? There's a lot of weird nooks here.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are. Yeah.
Is
So
it
as I said,
broken,
it's like,
or is it just?
well, this isn't like an actual. So as I said before, like none of this is actual built up, paved or whatever passageways as such. It's just kind of tunnels that have been either made through just the settling of how all this stuff is piled together, or there are little like fragments of buildings and stuff that are piled up that you're able to crawl through. So these are just like ad hoc, passageways that you're able to get through. And there's just all kinds of little recesses and things that lead into little nooks and crannies, most of which is, to cut a long story short, filled with the same kind of dead and condemned detritus that is around. So if you wanted to rummage through any of that stuff or investigate it closer, you'll probably find some stuff. You might find some stuff on the history of this place if you wanted to. But otherwise, there's nothing particularly remarkable around this apart from what I just described.
I'd be tempted to, but I think we are on sort of a deadline with this giant wolfy thing.
Yeah,
true.
in fact, as you're moving to this area where you are now, so you kind of get to the end of the corridor and there's some broken down just entrances that you're able to scramble through, leading you downwards into another kind of opening. But as you get through this area, Minim, you will feel that you're getting very, very close to these. I mean, it's hard to even describe exactly what it is. Source of the energy here might be one way of describing it. It's somewhere between that and a kind of controlling presence or intelligence of some kind. And yes, it's you just interpret it very strongly as a thing, a powerful thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So in fact,
Drop.
yeah, as you actually
is a big
that's a
drop.
good point. You do have a drop here. So yeah, you get to this point in the thing, and the opening or corridor does lead almost straight downwards into here, which is a very large kind of open chamber, basically, from what you can see here.
How many of
Portal.
those glow sticks do we have? I know that.
Good point.
Yeah, glow globes. I mean, yeah, if you want to use a couple or a few or whatever, let's say you have some spare.
The glow globe, is it easily breakable?
It's basically like it's made of glass. So if it bashed into
okay.
something really hard, it would break.
So I can't just throw it down.
Like solid glass. So you'd have to bash it quite hard to really.
I was thinking, should I drop it down and see if I can see the light?
Oh well, they actually have they have a kind of anti-grav, so they're like they're like neutrally buoyant, as it were.
Can I
So if
drop
you
one of those down like that?
you can chuck one down, and you can get it to like more or less stop somewhere in the place. Okay, let me just quickly rig up a little icon that I can give light to.
Okay.
You can say that you used mine because I don't even need it anyway.
How about we attach it to a rope and just dangle
Well,
it
if it
down?
floats anyway.
Oh
we
yeah,
can
that's
see-
right. It floats.
Yeah, but this way we can like pull it back, right? If it like floats and we don't want to maybe.
Nah, wormhole.
This is the only way down, so I'm sure we'll get to it. But yeah,
They all float down here.
I can't select that currently.
It's probably good.
Right, and I also can't see the vision. I can see the area I can see a bit better, but
Yeah, that's intended. Like you
Oh.
can't see through this thing; it just casts light.
that makes sense actually.
I'm gonna
Okay.
make a little wormhole here, just under the glow globe.
Cool. All right, everyone should be able to move that icon now, by the way. Rad. Okay.
Holy.
That is a big drop. Oh,
Wow. Okay, that's
Boss chamber.
That's very stomach-like. Did you just? Okay, I don't know where you got this map from, but I'm suddenly getting some sort of vague semblance of veins or some sort of tubey parts.
Arteries.
Do we have to find a colon?
Oh, God.
Just
I
so
will-
everyone knows, by the way, the wormhole is two-way and stays open for a minute, so anyone else can go through.
Can we see through the wormhole, or is it just a blind jump?
I think it's.
Hold on.
I think it's blind, is how it.
But we
think.
see you below us, so we can guess.
As in, like you. Yeah, you can't see where it goes to. I think.
Okay. Well, I'll.
How long does this wormhole stay open for?
A minute.
Oh,
we should probably attach a rope to the top to make
Yeah,
sure
I'm
that
putting
we
a
have a
rope
way
up
to
here.
get back up.
good point. Yeah.
Just dangling it down, just in case.
No, I couldn't possibly mess up the rope. Nice, good with ropes and climbing.
All right. So actually, as you
Yeah.
as you drop the glow globe down, you briefly get a vision of this kind of large open chamber from above. But almost as soon as Minim, zaps through his portal, the glow globe actually, well, apparently just disappears. Boop.
Um.
Oh.
Oops.
Wait, why did it just disappear? Did it
Not only does it disappear, but the entire large empty space that you are in seems shrouded in like darkness, even despite the glow globes that you're carrying on yourselves. There is a sense of two things. First of all, this isn't just like a completely random opening in all the detritus and things like the other spaces that you've been moving through are. This is more of a specially constructed kind of chamber with features around the walls that are hard to initially make out. You also get a sense of a presence here.
So, there's something in here that's shrouding itself from us.
Indeed.
Golly, if only I had which could.
Disguises. Interesting. Let's see.
And that's an enabler, so it's always on. Sorry, DM.
No, I'm going to say in this case, you are dealing with something which will require to make you a roll in order to
Okey-dokey.
perceive it, despite the supernatural alacrity of your senses normally. The shroud of darkness, you might say, that this thing is casting to protect itself, seems initially to completely resist your abilities. But let's pull it off anyway. Let's say this is a intellect. I'm going to say difficulty 7.
Owie.
But I think this would come under the various weird things that you're specialized in.
What, like Numenera?
Yeah, basically.
Hooray! Oh well. Hang on. The effort didn't get put in. Would that have met it? I put in 2 effort because I can do that for free.
So that should have added 6. So yes, I think that would have made it. I think.
Hooray!
Yeah,
Wait, hold on.
I think so.
7.
2.
It goes down to 12 and then to 9. So I'd have beaten it by 2. It would have made the difficulty. It would
Your
have made the
maths makes
difficulty.
sense.
It would have made the
Yeah, yeah.
difficulty 3.
Okay, yep, no, that's fine. Yeah, I think you would succeed. Cool, so, hold on. I had an icon, but actually I don't like it. I don't really have like a top-down one over. I'm going to give a portrait one instead. So, whoop. No, she isn't giant. Basically, what you see is a basically humanoid figure. In fact, let me show you the handout.
Oh, this is from the book. I like this picture.
I am not familiar with this picture. I may have seen it for some of the book, but I do not recognise it.
She looks sad.
Those aren't
does
tears.
look sad.
Ah, Snake Lady. There's the scales. I promised you a Snake Lady.
So the sight that greets you is rather strange, as well, I guess only Minim would be able to actually see her. Basically, she is suspended in, I guess, somewhat of a crucifix pose in the center of the chamber. You're able to see as well, let's say, in a kind of sonar-like kind of flash of vision, that the features of the walls around this room, how to describe it? So the walls themselves are basically unremarkable. They're just made of detritus and junk that was brought together. But extending out of the walls at all kinds of places are basically what looks like the business end of various machinery. Not necessarily mechanical, but more, they seem like emitters of some kind of magic or something like that. Very powerful Numenera as well. And they seem to be essentially directed at her. She is suspended, that is, she's just floating unsupported in this, as I say, kind of crucifix-like pose. She appears female. She is conscious and she's looking right at you. And she has even more so than in this picture, she has an incredibly sorrowful and anguished expression.
What did that sign back there say again? Oracle of what?
Atonement?
Atonement, yes.
That could still mean anything.
Yeah. I'm sure she's fine.
Yeah, I guess
we don't
Minim
know
just
she's
kind of
alive.
like is staring into this void and says, "There's someone there."
Where? Who?
I will look in that direction.
So like cocks his head like a
Yeah.
Jack Russell and says, "She's trapped."
Shall we free her? What's she trapped in?
So at this stage, let's see. All right, at this stage, I think the lights in the chamber come on and reveal her to the rest of you as well. All right, let me just think for a second. Yeah, so basically, she is simply staring at you. I think that's just what I'm going to say. She's still holding this pose, but she is clearly aware that you are there, and she is staring at you with kind of grief, but there's also immense. There's something to her face that sets it extremely with an extreme kind of strain that almost drains all of the beauty out of it. And let's see, I wonder who can best perceive the subtleties of that.
What, like emotions?
Yeah, like
Try
so.
and smell her emotions again.
I'm going to say Bean, I think. Not least because you've just dosed yourself with something that seems to have given you a sudden supernatural boost of insight. So let's say give me a intellect roll, difficulty, I think 4.
Okay.
I'm going to say in your current state you're specialized in it.
Okay. So specialized in it. I won't put any effort. Actually, I'll put 1 point of effort in because it's intellect based, and I get it for free. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Hooray!
So the thing that is racking her, you can perceive, is immense guilt. It's almost as if all of the guilt and kind of shame and fear and reprobation and anger that you've been feeling in this place is, if not emanating from her, then coursing through her.
Okay.
She is, as yet, she's not making any reaction to you or anything like that. She is simply existing in this state.
Yeah, guys, she looks really guilty, and I'm pretty sure she's not done all this bad stuff that the people up there are supposed to have done. So, do you think when it says atonement, it's like the Oracle of Atonement, they're just like atoning by pushing a guilt onto her or something? Because that sounds
Maybe.
kind of like a dickish thing that some people would do. Like, I don't want to feel guilty anymore, so let's make this person feel guilty instead.
It
So,
could be like this is her. Maybe
Luckily,
this is her sort of job.
it doesn't look like a very nice job.
probably a shit job.
I can help her. I know just a way to stop feeling guilty.
I have no doubt that no matter what thing we decide to do, it's all going to end in tears.
It'll be absolutely fine.
It'll
I'm
be
sure
fine.
I can.
Can I make some sort of just gesture to her, like waving, and just say hello?
Wait, can we all see her now?
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
The lights in the chamber came on. So, yeah, and just to reiterate, it's clear that as opposed to the relatively just kind of randomly occurring spaces you've been passing through, this is something that was very intentionally built. So she is supposed to be here by whoever arranged this.
Is she physically restrained in any way, or is she floating?
She's just floating with her arms outstretched, but she is kind of hanging as if she were being held up by ropes.
Right. You can probably tell what I'm going to ask, but my drugs. Is it possible to mix up something that would just make you feel very clear-headed and not worry so much, and not have a care in the world, and just be very relaxed and not feel any guilt? That sort of thing.
Try and communicate with her first.
Well, I'm not going to dose her with it. I just want to make sure. Can I do that?
Happy
It's not-
drugs.
Yeah, well, it's more like relaxing drugs.
Cannabis.
Yeah,
All right, I'll
cannabis,
tell you what.
basically. Yeah.
Like basically, you know, that is exactly the kind of thing that you specialize in as it were, an apothecary. However, this is clearly not just a normal mood that she is bearing, whether it's being imposed on her or emerging from herself or what.
Right.
Typical big pharma bean. Drugs solve everything.
Well, okay, I'll be
Now,
honest. It
you-
sounds like... Sorry.
Since you are an expert at your trade, even this, and you're, you know, at the top of your game as a clearly, you know, exceptional individual in this field. So, and plus you have a lot of drugs on you. So basically cooking something like that up is not outside the bounds of possibility. However, you know, quite possibly from having mistakes in your past, that this kind of situation in general, and especially in a situation like she is in, cannot necessarily be solved as such by drugs. I mean, they can be, but there isn't exactly some, you know, medicinal cure that you can put together that's going to fix this. It's going to be a case of instigating something in her that who knows how she will be able to handle, and maybe she'll be able to handle it in a way that will free her from whatever this is that is affecting her.
You need to get her into
Essentially,
as well.
there is the possibility for this to work, and there is the possibility for this to not work. So what I would say is that if you want to concoct something to administer to her, you have to commit to doing it beforehand, and then you make a intellect roll, which is going to be quite difficult. If you fail, then she still takes it, but the effects will be bad.
Shall we talk to her first? I'm not entirely giving up on this idea.
Erasmus can mind read.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I can do a surface mind read. I can read surface thoughts. So.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, go for it. So is that just necessary, or?
Yeah, that's necessary. But I need to get up there, so I'll have to use hover as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, do you need to be like close range?
Yeah, I need to touch the person.
Oh, okay,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Can
So
I-
I could hover up and give her a high five and.
High five on the face.
Before
and,
that, can I just like raise a hand, see if there's any, you know, say hello, see
Yeah,
if there's any
exactly.
response?
She is looking in your general direction, but as you like, you know, wave or maybe call out or try
I
and
say,
catch
hello, my name is Nye.
let's see. If there's any reaction from her, it's very subtle. So I think, Nye, give me an intellect. Actually, no. I'll just give it to you. So, yeah, basically, you know, it seems that she does notice you, but it seems that there's no space in her and in how she projects herself for any kind of recognition or greeting or welcome or aggression or anything else like that. The only thing that consumes her is her immense guilt. And as a result, she is simply staring at you wide-eyed, trying to impress it directly on your soul.
How
So-
long is short range again?
Within 50 meters.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I
yeah.
can actually read her from here.
Okay. Yep, so if you spend the cost for hover and for the mind read thing, then you can certainly go and try and do that.
Also,
Mhm.
this is kind of a slightly less relevant aside, but if I... First of all, am I able to scan her? And if I am, like, is she human?
Yeah. Let's see. She isn't human. Let's see. I mean, Okay, she isn't human. She is extraterrestrial. She seems to be in some way related to the like the condemned, the ones who are in the graves and so forth. who mostly seem to be the same species. However, she doesn't look like them.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Let's not tell the Ox that we found another extraterrestrial.
I mean, if she's the Oracle of Atonement, I'm sort of slightly thinking that she's sending this out into other people to torment them. You know, she's generating this emotion.
Maybe.
Oh,
That's my thought.
Let's
Find out.
read her mind and find out.
Yes. All right. So let's have a
No thoughts are sacred.
float over towards her. So, did you say you had to touch her?
No, I actually have to be close range, but I think if I touch her, it would work better.
Okay, sure. So let's see.
Yeah, the official range for it is short, but I reckon it'll probably look a lot cooler if he does the whole hover thing as well.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I guess it's just going to be your choice. Do you touch her? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So the moment that happens, give me a intellect defense.
Oh gosh.
Level 8.
Oh golly!
Oh, okay.
If you can, I'm not sure if you will be able to, but
Let's just throw in all the effort.
Yeah, why not? Well, if it's level 8 and you don't have any like specialization or anything, you may as well not put the effort in because, well, I suppose if you've got it for free.
I mean, what do you have to get it down to?
six is the lowest that you can do. Then you
okay.
get 18, 19, or 20.
You did it.
Oh, nice. Nice.
It looks.
How
Yeah.
did that happen?
Yep. No,
Reduced
that
by
makes...
6 levels.
Wow! 4 effort. All right.
yeah,
Cool.
we've
All
got
right. So
5 now at this
basically,
point.
so what happens, Rasmus, is there's kind of a dead silence in this chamber, as if all the focus is on this figure and the emotion that she is projecting and just embodying, basically. You float your way up to her. I guess I kind of want to know, what's your kind of attitude as you do this? Are you maintaining your kind of your kind of composure, basically, or very composed, gentlemanly demeanor, or are you more empathetic, basically, and kind of touched by her plight?
I think your flaming sword out.
Maybe
Yeah, actually, do you still have that out?
By the way, Thomas, you haven't updated your edge in many moons.
No, I got.
If you've
I
only
got a 4.
if you've only been putting just so you know, if you've only been putting your edge into int, then you should have at this point. How much do I have? You should have at least 5 by now. And if you've upgraded your edge with your first tier 5 advancement, then you'll actually have 6 edge. So I don't know if that's relevant for you at the moment.
Oh, no, I'll just add it later.
Sure.
I think it's fine for the moment. With the grass, I think I've put the flaming sword away by now.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
it might be a
okay,
bit
so
off-putting.
what happens as you approach her in your hovering pose, and you open your mind to try and understand what is going through hers? It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like putting a cup into the Niagara Falls. The sheer weight and volume and intensity of sensation and feeling, and understanding as well, comprehension of an incredible amount of sin and, well, yes, guilt and kind of remorse, just smacks right into you, basically. And let's see. Okay, you did succeed. So, despite the rapidity with which it happens, I guess you're able to basically steal your mind. Maybe there's a kind of flash of energy off you as your psychic abilities kind of react to this sudden onslaught, and it's like being in the middle of a tornado or something. It kind of blasts all around you for a moment until you're able to pull your hand back from her. So you certainly managed to, realize what she is feeling. In this case, it is so intense that it almost could have killed you. You sense if it had fully grounded itself through your mind.
Neat. So now I'm sad.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he definitely would pick up on that emotion, and it's not necessarily that it would push itself onto you, because I think he would have a very disciplined mind, almost a kind of slightly kind of clockworky mind that would not be so strongly affected like that. But you very much it's been some kind of somewhat mysterious, the relationship between her. Between this massive kind of oppressive sense of guilt that pervades the place, and between the huge, power that resides in this place. And basically what you sense as a result of this dangerous encounter is that they're basically all the same thing. You're not quite clear by what means it is made so, although clearly these people these ancient people had a lot of power at their disposal. But basically, let's see, I put it this way. Her job is to understand and comprehend and not to forget the sheer magnitude and weight of sin that were committed by all the people and things that are buried here. She is there in order that it is not forgotten. But in order to render her into a being who can do that, who can handle that sheer weight of energy and emotion, she is basically preserved and augmented and otherwise prepared by the technology which is set around this room to be able to survive it and perceive it and amplify it, and also to use it to keep this place hidden forever, and that if it ever was breached, to defend it with a tremendous power. She is the conduit for that function in this place.
Well, how macabre.
Sounds like a situation which requires a boatload of drugs. They do solve everything in just the right
You
dosage.
always say that.
Well, it usually works. I mean, look what happened to Vumov. I mean, he was quite happy to send us where he wanted to go. I mean, granted, he sent us towards some sort of hell dimension originally, but other than that, I've seemed to work quite well. Sort of.
Right, so, are we abducting this girl or what?
So is she voluntarily there or what?
That it is hard to tell, but let's see. I think one other thing Erasmus would be able to pick up is that all of this guilt is not something purely external to her that is just channeled through her. She herself knows a tremendous burden of guilt for something that she did in the past.
I mean, even if she's here by her own will, sometimes I think you've just got to make decisions on people's behalves if they're bad at them.
What happens if we remove her from this place, do you think? I mean, do you think does she need to be here? If we take her out of the way, are we going to be unleashing some sort of guilt stream which is going to blow stuff up? I don't know how these things work.
The world becomes really sad.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she's offloading some sort of a conduit, as it were. What will happen if we move her?
Let's
The guilt she's pumping out might be the only thing keeping the other guys in control.
Yeah. Have you
don't
looked
know.
in?
I would say, I think one other thing that I'll add in order to give you a bit more information is, you remember back in the temple, there was a large number of kind of hieroglyphics that seem to have been, there originally, and there were also all the kind of diagrammatic patterns that were being carved by the aliens and by Russell. And in this chamber, you see a huge amount of this inscription of both kinds surrounding the walls of this chamber.
The same sort of writing.
Yes. So both the hieroglyphics and the kind of diagrammatic circuit diagrammy looking things.
Is there any way we could get her to sort of react to an image of Russell, or
Oh, I've got some of his leaves that might maybe trigger something.
maybe, yeah.
I mean, it might
Also,
not.
Erasmus can make an image of him, potentially.
That's possibly more effective, yeah, rather than just randomly.
I mean,
say, "Look."
I say that, but Thomas keeps flickering in and out of existence.
Just like his illusions.
So.
I could make more than one image of him.
What?
If,
What? He's there?
You are here.
Yeah.
Your picture keeps disappearing.
Did you ever leave? Did he leave?
What?
Yeah, you
made
started.
yourself invisible. and then
You started talking when your picture wasn't actually in the lineup. So,
Okay.
so now I'm just confused.
Erasmus can make himself disappear from the game. That's a pretty impressive
It's an
skill.
amazing power.
All right, so I mean, you got two options. Erasmus, they were discussing you making an illusion, I guess, showing kind of Russell and maybe the temple as well. And Fayan has some actual, pieces of Russell basically as well that might help. Let's say, Fayan, you give those pieces to Erasmus.
Some of them. He can borrow them.
Well, yeah, okay. And Erasmus, do you kind of make an illusion like that, or maybe do something else? After all, you have just had a very intense experience that shook even your gentlemanly demeanor to the core.
Yeah,
I can help
so
with that.
I think we'll have to make something that will make me feel a little bit more at ease first.
Yep, I can do that. Do you want some? It doesn't have to be the strong stuff, just a mild
so-
relaxant.
So I'm going to make a stage, like a theater. first. And let's say at the center of the stage is Russell. Happen to be there. He's a part of the major illusion that I will perform.
Nice. Cool. Okay. So, and are you making that kind of, immediately around you? So she is on the stage as well, or?
Yeah, let's say it is around here where we are floating. So
Okay.
Russell will be around in her immediate range.
Cool. Interesting. Okay. So, she does react to that in a way that she hasn't reacted to anything else before, at least in as far as she turns her head towards the image of Russell, and she glares at it with, she still very much is intent on, simply her guilt and all of the guilt that she has taken on. And she stares at the image of Russell and it seems as if her expression takes on a tone of kind of anguished fury directed at him, but she only she looks away from him after a brief moment as if she can't bear to look at him, and looks back at Erasmus and says, let's see. Yeah, she speaks in a kind of spooky, like multiply layered, kind of echoing voice that seems to emanate from all around the chamber, although it is at least roughly in sync with her, the movements of her lips. And let's see. So she basically says, Him. Let's see. Punishment was laid on him a long time ago. How can you have seen him so recently? Or is this an image from the past that you have summoned to torment me further? Because if so, I welcome it.
Oh.
Do we tell her the truth, or do we show
Yeah,
her
let's
the
tell her.
truth? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll set you free.
He wants to tell her.
No point in putting off the inevitable.
Okay, yeah. You don't have to do a full description, but do you just explain to her, how you came to be here and what's happening at the temple and all that kind of stuff?
Maybe we don't tell her everything. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we don't
Found out
totally
about the
know
gravestone.
she's benign here.
We could say we've seen Russell and he sent us here to battle this beast and defeat it.
Yeah, show her a picture of the whatchamacallit, the big wolf.
She murmurs the Guardian as you show her that image, and you show. Sorry, I may have missed it. Do you show her kind of the temple and what's happening there as well?
Man, illusionists are so good at NPC exposition.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Like basically, the more you show her of what has been going on, or the more of the truth you show her, the more her demeanor, her mood, her emotion is so overwhelmingly intense, that she can barely distract herself from it to offer the slightest responses to you. But as you explain to her / show her what is going on outside, it is so intense in her that she starts to shudder, and you can feel it's basically making her even more guilty, because it seems that she holds herself responsible for allowing this situation to develop. She looks to each of you and says, let's see. Well, she basically asks you, and what is your intent here?
He told us that we need to defeat the Guardian, but we think he doesn't have the best intentions in mind.
What we want is...
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Universal.
Sorry, what we want is for justice to be done.
She... you get the closest that you've got so far to her from a laugh. A kind of brief smile flickers across her face as she gestures around kind of the room, but seeming to imply the entire catacombs around her, and says, "You're looking at it."
Why are you here? Why? I don't mean just her, but why are all of these people here?
She says, "This is just punishment. It was not enough for our sins to be forgotten by history. They had to remain, in a state of punishment." In order to truly allow justice to be done. Annihilation is no justice.
Russell seems like he wants to annihilate things. That's...
She, her voice is kind of shaking with anger, and she says, let's see. She says, that one. He should be buried in the deepest depths.
Do you think maybe... Sorry, carry on.
She says, I should have known if he'd escaped, but he's I don't know. Yeah, he is clever, and she. Let's see.
Can we show her more precise images of what he's doing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that would definitely come into Erasmus's kind of illusions that he can do.
Is Erasmus still here? Is he invisible again?
Yeah. Maybe we can. I have an idea, but I don't know how to express it properly because that's not really my strong suit. But so I just sort of saunter over and I say, "But you know, isn't it good if we know what happens so we don't do it again? I have read that sometime someone said that I should forget history because we repeat it. No, wait, that's not how that goes. You know what I mean." What actually happened? I'm so confused. And then I just go away. I think I may actually be a little bit high from that goal.
So basically, her tone, her face or her tone kind of softens as as Barex rather naively appeals to her to understand what's going on. And let's see. She seems to, after a few moments kind of interacting with you, she seems to manage to regain some amount of control of the energies that are coursing through her and the emotions that are coursing through her. And so she kind of spreads her fingers out and looks at each of you, and you get, let's see, not exactly blasted by, but given a rather shocking exposure to the flood of images and history and kind of records of all the things that they were responsible for. And essentially you see records and images of a great war. The more savvy among you might recognize it as what must be an interplanetary war, even if that's a concept you can kind of barely understand. And others of you might, not really understand what is meant by these great kind of ships and armies going across different landscapes and things. But anyway, that quickly descends into basically, imagine Clockwork Orange, just the crossed with a just montage of the most horrible kinds of images that have come from human history. There's just horrible things are listed one after another, quicker and quicker, more and more intense through your mind, to the extent that you very quickly instinctively defend yourselves against it. And she quickly backs off and lets that feeling and those images fade. She says, "Our sins are without number and without record."
Okay, I'm leaning towards my original option. What do you guys think? Shall we help her with air quotes get over the guilt?
I mean, I'd like to know what Russell's actually doing now. Is this?
Yeah, because he seems up to no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly ask her about that or present her with the image or whatever. Or, just generally turn the subject back to that. And she says, he is, let's see. Yeah, she says he was one of my generals as I rampaged across the galaxy. Let's see. I'm wondering if she knows exactly what he's doing. I think, she says, I believe he is trying to draw on the power of this place to call in whatever aid or reinforcements he can. take back take back the life that he has always felt was ripped away from him. I've tried to control him and impress his guilt upon him, but he never was able to accept it. If he is truly reached the surface and found a force to help him reconfigure the temple, it's only a matter of time before fell forces of his arrive.
Okay, so we can't let that happen.
Wait.
We can't stop an army.
Can we stop it from being? Can we stop him from being reinforced, though?
What?
Can we stop the army from getting here?
I want. What's Russell up to? Is he trying to, like,
free the others, turn it into his own personal army, and carry on with whatever bad sins he did before? There were some bad sins in that list.
Presumably there was like a war going on, and if he can call reinforcements from somewhere else, then that means that they're already in a position to be waging war if they're waging war.
Wait,
so what does he want an army for? I wonder, and this is me going off on one, if maybe he's just trying to euthanize all of his friends.
Question for Floaty Lady. I can't remember her name. Sorry, she's had one.
She hasn't actually been given a name. So.
Okay, I'll call her Betty. Okay, so Betty, what happened to the rest of Russell's race? Are any of them still alive, or all of them imprisoned here?
Let's see. She basically says, it is not my privilege to know that anymore. We've been down here for... she kind of thinks for a second and then decides to put it in terms of, years, i.e. this planet's years. She basically says, we've been enduring this punishment for over 10,000 years. In that time, it wouldn't surprise me if our races and all like it have wiped each other out. But then again, maybe they're in their prime and ready to strike.
Is there a set end to your punishment, or are you supposed to be here forever? Right.
So if Russell escaped from his prison, presumably that means the others can escape as well. If not all of them, then at least a good portion of them. So it could be, well, this place is where he's going to get his reinforcements from.
She considers that, and she says, I don't know how he escaped. I'm sure only he is capable of it. If anyone else had left, I should have sensed it, but then I should have sensed him leaving as another of my sins. And let's see. And in terms of where he's going to get his reinforcements from, she says, I'm not sure. He is cleverer than me. I'm not sure exactly what his plan is. But this, he will know very well, is not a place. Let's see. Basically, what she says is the only power that resides in this place is the power of the sin that flows through me, and the power that I was given to defend and hide this place. He wants to use this power not in itself, because he knows that it is utterly corrupt and decrepit now, but I suspect he wants to siphon my power in order to activate the temple and send a signal to our compatriots off of this planet.
Okay, so I've got two questions. First, is there any way at all that Russell could, with any sort of devices potentially, free any of his other former allies here and get them to his side? That's the first part. Second part is, if so, is there any way that we could do the same, but only to offer these souls a chance of redemption as a stop a greater evil from gaining a foothold and preventing another, let's say, scenario like the one which originally put them here.
Interesting. I like it. So let's see. Okay, so she simply answers the first question and spreads her hands out and says, "I don't know. It is possible. I've tried to outwit him for all these years, but clearly he has managed to outmaneuver me in this case. So I'm not entirely sure what his plans are, but it is not impossible for the ones who roam here not to escape. It is their guilt and shame that keeps them here, not any physical bond." That's what she says about the first part. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
So if we offered them a way to perhaps absolve themselves of this guilt, then perhaps that would be a good option.
So as to that part, I think that is a deeper request, and so I think make a intellect roll if you have any kind of persuasion or whatever that will apply.
Okay, let me bring up my thing. It's not going to be deception. It could be communication. Communication could work.
I don't know why you picked it like an asshole character archetype. You're such a nice person.
I don't know why. I always try to be slightly dickish, and it doesn't happen very often. Okay, I'll learn. What difficulty?
I think that is going to be difficulty 5.
5. Okay, so difficulty 5. Trained would bring it down to 4. I'm going to put 2 points of effort in because I've got intellect to burn. Actually, I'll put 3 points of effort in because, like I said, I've got a lot of that intellect I'm going to lose anyway.
Faye tries really hard at everything he does. I love it.
There we go.
Nice. Okay, so let's say the encounter with the goop, despite leaving you very messy and bedraggled, has left you with a intensely socially alert demeanor to yourself as in opposition to your normal slightly kind of skulking demeanor. I reckon you're like propping yourself up with one leg on one side and kind of giving her the full like Shakespearean arms kind of thing as you address her and try and convince her that some of this guilt and shame can be kind of put to good use to prevent a greater evil. And she, during all this, looks down at you and she has a crack of an expression which you it seems like she hasn't felt in a long time, which is even a mere flicker of basically hope, I guess you might say. A reprieve, the possibility of a reprieve from the constant guilt that she feels. And as a result, she is receptive to your idea. And she says, if I can do it, it will be done. Communing with the mass of tortured souls here will be a difficult task. And convincing them that they should leave their imprisonment, even if it is supposedly for a good cause, is something that many will not trust themselves to do. But I will do what I can to persuade them so, because whether or not we can do it, somebody needs to. And I feel that as those who are still alive and are not tainted as we are, you have the most interest in it.
If anybody needs a little assistance, not feeling quite so guilty about the idea of leaving and doing something, I could always assist with my special abilities, let's say.
She just kind of stares kind of blankly at you as you say that, and she says, please, traveler, anything you can do to this cause will be a great boon.
Okay. Sure. Do you need any of these special abilities?
While we're there, do you need us to pick anything up?
She says,
Just a little bump.
I think that slime stuff would actually be quite useful.
even as she speaks to you and she basically agrees to your plan, the kind of weight of responsibility on her, in addition to the burden that she is already bearing, clearly has a great effect on her. In fact, she kind of slumps in place, but feeling her feet touch the kind of stage that Erasmus has conjured, she actually seems to basically kind of twist her wrists and basically slip the invisible restraints that she had been in as she collapses onto that floor. And if Feyan, you go and offer her any drugs, then she will take it and stare at it for a moment and then trustingly consume them.
Yeah, unless anybody stops me, that is going to be what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think this is out of character. This is a terrible idea. In character, I have no. Yeah, sure, why not? Just happy pills.
It'll be
Minim doesn't
absolutely
even
fine.
know what's going on.
I'm not going with anything too crazy, just more of a, well, I think it's you said,
A
a
mild.
cannabis type effect of just chilling out a little bit.
All right, so
Take the edge off.
all right, well, let's say it doesn't have any immediate effect. Well, actually, no. So let's say she, she seemed to be on the verge of kind of losing her steel somewhat and starting to kind of hyperventilate. But after a few moments after taking what you gave her, she does seem to kind of slump somewhat in place, looking rather haggard, but simply pressing her hand to her forehead and kind of bearing it essentially. And she looks up at you and says, I will do what I can, but you will need to confront this Russell.
Gladly.
Yeah, I never liked that guy anyways.
All right, let's see. So, okay, so, I mean, are you kind of willing already to kind of depart back for the surface and leave her to it, or is there anything else that you want to do?
I can't think of any reason to stay. I mean,
I still feel like really bad for her.
well,
So,
we've always.
Can I sort of, as we depart, can I just sort of shake her by the hand, say, it's good to accept your punishment for the crimes that you've done, but it's even better to make amends.
She looks at you with eyes that are not deliberately, but utterly evil.
What?
What?
Simply that.
Nice.
It's no change from how she has been addressing you so far. You just haven't been close enough to really notice it before. But as you look into her eyes, you can sense nothing but evil there.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh,
Sorry,
dog
guys.
face, I love you.
So having seen that, as I say, she is still very much taking that, very same, conciliatory tone. She, as I say, there's no difference now than she was being before. It's just that you have noticed something about how she looks.
Huh.
I mean, we all look a little evil sometimes.
Well. So, I'll whisper.
But then again,
that's
maybe
brilliant.
maybe your characters don't necessarily have a strong conception of evil. I suspect that Nyes might.
I don't think I would. So, yeah.
I think Nye is
I mean-
probably, just to kind of tie this into a character moment that's maybe being overlooked, but Nye is maybe recognizing a similar sort of look to what she received when she was exiled from her people.
Well, I mean, I think that was the idea, but turns out maybe
slightly
this
different.
one's actually a dick. Well, Naya is.
Maybe. But it's that same sort of like, revulsion kind of thing.
If
Maybe.
we need a backup plan, I do still have his doomsday device.
Maybe just leave it lying around.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to lay that there and just kind of let it lay. But I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get across is, there's a reason she feels so guilty, is what you sense from her and what you have sensed from her since you first laid eyes on her. And yet you have managed to negotiate with her to this extent. But yeah, that doesn't change the nature of who she is.
I think it's cool leaving it as just like a vague intuition at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, really now is more kind of foolishly optimistic in general. So yeah, she might not pick up on that.
Depending on how these things go, we could always offer to end her punishment, I guess.
I mean, we're player characters, we can do whatever we want.
Okay, so in any case, unless you have any further business with her, she... let's see. I'm just wondering if she has any particular means for you to get back up to... Yeah, let's say she actually kind of stands up straight and puts her arms out and kind of, as it were, hooks her wrists back up to those invisible restraints and resumes her previous position. And likely her demeanor, but it's she's kind of furrowing her brows, and it is clear that she is. You can, those of you who are more sensitive, can kind of feel the change in the energies that are flowing through here, and it's clear that she is reaching out to the roaming kind of monsters and condemned and so forth, who previously have essentially just been left to languish. So whatever she might be communicating with them, clearly she is doing so. And as she does that, basically the area of the room, I'm going to say, Erasmus, you're back down with the others. This thing disappears. The kind of area of the room around you basically suddenly surges and shudders, and likewise the basically ceiling above you kind of warps and kind of folds out of the way as there's kind of a great eruption of force around you, and basically the whole area of kind of ground beneath you rises up kind of like an elevator as it is thrust directly up through these catacombs, which are basically kind of peeled aside in order to make room for you, as she in that manner propels you up onto the surface. As soon as you get there, you zoom out a bit. So you're, let's say you emerge kind of roughly around the station mobile, which is just here on the top left bit of the kind of graveyard, and as well as the night having mostly fallen at this stage. It was kind of dusk before. You can actually see the temple. Before it was just kind of a dim shadow that you could kind of see through the trees, but now it's clearly giving off a great deal of light that is both white in some places, or kind of silvery white, and also red, apparently near the top. And in fact, you can see a kind of like a thick kind of laser beam, I guess, or kind of a searchlight type light that is going directly up from the top of it. That light is also kind of flooding through the trees and kind of illuminating the jungle somewhat. So you can see that off in the very distance. As you look around the graveyard around you, you can see that the ground around it has kind of somewhat buckled and shifted, possibly as a result of the things that you're doing underground. You don't see any immediate sign of the kind of guardian per se, but you can very much feel that same presence, which you now recognize as kind of the energy of the woman below. But up here, that manifests as a sheerly hostile and aggressive, kind of defensive sensation. So that is the situation that you find yourselves in as we end the session.
Bam, bam, bam.
Cliffhanger.
Did she betray us?
I don't know.
Probably.
I honestly don't know what to think anymore. This is all getting very weird. I was a bit worried I just screwed us all over with the trying to soothe her guilt thing there. That's
Maybe that's why it came out, right? The only thing that is making her good is the intense guilt, and you took that away.
yeah. I mean, what could
She calms
possibly
down
go
soon.
wrong?
Maybe.
So she needs a bit of an upper and a downer, I guess.
Yeah.
Dear.
By the
You
time
know.
she starts seeing the pink elephants.
Well, I think the
That'll
pink
happen.
elephant's probably a bit better. I'm
I
thinking.
guess
we
I'm
might-
wondering, just as a kind of character thing, does Nye believe that she deserves to be down there?
I mean, she's done terrible things. Nye definitely doesn't believe in a sort of never-ending punishment. That a never-ending punishment fits a never-ending crime, which.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I just, I was just kind of curious about how she was kind of reacting to getting more to the kind of heart of the matter at the graveyard, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just seems weird to me that, she feels guilt, and yet, evil. I don't know.
You cut out for a chunk there. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. The idea that she feels guilt but is also completely evil is kind of tricky.
Yeah, that is. That is like an odd paradox in her character that I'm kind of trying to get across, I guess. Like when I say evil, I don't mean she is the bad guy who will betray you necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, she might be, you don't know. But she is just an inherently evil person who nonetheless, by whatever exact process, has found herself in this role as kind of both punisher and punished. And clearly she at least has enough remorse in her, I guess, or maybe even just, you hear about like psychopaths who they will say that they know that what they're doing is wrong. They just don't give a shit. But it seems like she has that same self-awareness, but by whatever means she has been made to give a shit, and therefore she is turning all her attention to punishing and recriminating that guilt, I guess, is kind of her deal.
So giving her something to make her not give a shit probably wasn't the best move. Oh, I think
at last.
in character Fayan wouldn't know that. So he's quite happy to give people drugs to make them feel a bit less shit.
Is Thomas still here, by the way?
I don't know.
He said his internet is tricky and it is raining here, so maybe he said it cuts out when there's a thunderstorm.
This is
I
why
think it's been disconnected for a bit.
underground wires and stuff are handy. For that reason.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna get like all philosophical because in my mind, like one point about being evil is the inability to see like that you are wrong, right? So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Who'd have thought evil is a strange concept?
Yeah, I'm all for offering to end their punishment with air quotes with this giant bomb afterwards.
I mean, I'd be happier about that than leaving them to be punished forever.
I've mostly had a very odd mental exercise in trying to work out if Minim understands at all what's being said, and I think I've come to the conclusion that he doesn't, because his lifestyle up to this point largely has been one where revenge isn't something that he doesn't understand, and so by that sort of extension a kind of principled revenge, justice, is also not that foreign to him. But in his world it's kind of things exist in very sort of black and white binary states. So if you don't like a thing, if you don't like an organism or a being, you switch it off. And so he doesn't understand the concept of causing something to suffer for like a prolonged time. It's a odd kind of stasis that he's having trouble
Yeah.
wrapping his head around.
Because I think, I mean, one thing I'd add, now that we're basically out of character, I think, is, the other form that you've encountered this presence, this person in, there's the, fearsome guardian of the graveyard, this huge kind of powerful, beastly presence. And I guess what maybe Minim in particular might have picked up is that, she is a being who is so powerful that she is able to manifest in a form like that and not simply control it, but inhabit it and be it, and to feel and channel all of the, sheer raw aggression that kind of entails. So clearly whoever she was or whatever she did that resulted in her taking kind of punishment, she was utterly fearsome. And it seems like, the reason why she's been placed in the role of kind of warden, as it were, is partly because they knew that she was so uncontrollably fearsome that she could serve that role even over all of the horrible criminals that are imprisoned with her, but also because she needed an outlet to continue to be able to be that.
Okay.
Well, that's actually very interesting. for reasons.
Pardon me. So yeah, I think that's kind of the general feel that I'm kind of getting at with that.
Cool.
But anyway, that is it for that session. Thank you very much for turning up, even those who had trouble with their connections and so forth.
I'm going to have to sort this out. It's terrible.
Out come a little devil, a dragging a chain. She picked up a hatchet, split out his brains, saying, "Fi, diddle-I, diddle-I, fi, diddle-I, diddle-I, day."